Randomized controlled trials. Randomized controlled trials, or RCTs, are a type of experimental design that lets us make causal statements about a treatment. Causal statements are statements about cause and effect. We want to know if a treatment causes a hopefully beneficial effect on a disease that we want to treat. You may be familiar with the infamous saying, correlation does not equal causation. This is important because most statistical analyses only allow us to make correlational statements. Correlations describe how two variables change with each other. If two variables x and y are positively correlated, then if we observe an increase in x, we're more likely to observe an increase in y, and vice versa when there's negative correlation. Humans are very good at recognizing correlations, but this ability can turn the best of us into armchair statisticians. One day you'll eat some junk food, and then on the next day you might have lost some weight. It's tempting to think that eating junk food caused our reduction in weight, but that's ridiculous. A model by itself is not enough to make causal statements. We need to go a step further and plan how we collect data to allow ourselves to say a treatment causes a change to a disease. The goal of an RCT is to collect data in a way such that we can make causal statements. For time, I'll be focusing on the R and the C of RCT. It's not enough just to get a single group of people, give them a drug, and count how many get better. We're really interested in the change that treatment causes, so we need a second group. This second group is called a control group, also known as a placebo group. A control group is a group that doesn't take the treatment, and it's the C in RCT. The control group makes it easier to isolate the treatment effect because it gives us a reference for what will happen to a disease if we don't use the treatment. But just having a control group isn't enough. There may be other factors not related to the treatment that will help a person improve or worsen their disease status. One easy example is age. Old people tend to be frailer and sicker, so they're more likely to have worse outcomes just due to their age. Imagine if we took a group of people and placed all of the elderly in the treatment group and all of the younger people in the control group. Does that seem fair? It's like when all of the athletic kids picked each other to be on the one dodgeball team, and for some reason, I was placed on the other team. Similarly, imbalancing the groups on age creates an unfair comparison. We want the treatment group and the control groups to be as similar as possible. We want the only difference between these groups to be the fact that one is taking treatment and the other isn't. But balancing groups perfectly is really, really hard. And when researchers and pharmaceutical companies have a special interest in proving their drugs are correct, it's hard to resist the urge to do everything to put the treatment in a favorable light. So, it turns out the best way to assign people to groups is just to randomize them. If we have a large enough group, then randomization gives us the best chance that the treatment and the control groups are comparable. That's the R in RCT. It can feel weird to leave the fate of a new treatment essentially in the hands of a coin, but it's better than having humans pick the teams. There will always be the specter of unmeasured confounders. But that's another video. This was a Pocket Stats on RCTs. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, consider subscribing for more, and I'll see you in the next one.